We've stood on the battlefields, we've counted the dead from Cannae to the Somme. Tens of thousands of lives ended in a single day by human hands. But for all our talent for destruction, we are amateurs. When the earth itself decides to kill, the numbers are of a different order. Not tens of thousands, hundreds, in a single day. These are the 5 deadliest days in the history of natural disaster. Shaanxi is remembered as the deadliest earthquake in all of recorded history. But its vast toll was not the work of a single day, which is why it opens our list rather than ending it. Its horror came from how people lived. Across the Wei River Valley, millions made their homes in Yaodong, caves carved into the region's soft cliffs. Warm, cheap, and, as it turned out, a death trap. When the earth shook in the small hours, the cliffs collapsed and buried entire families where they slept. In some counties, 60% of the population died. To Ming China, this was not geology, but the judgment of heaven. On that first day, perhaps 100,000 were killed outright. But the disaster and the famine and plague that came after drained the region of a scarcely believable 830,000 souls over the months that followed. It is the deadliest earthquake ever recorded. Its deadliest single day, though, was only the beginning. Just before 8 in the morning, the seabed off Sumatra tore apart in one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. The ocean lifted, and a wall of water raced outward in every direction at the speed of a jet airliner. The Pacific had a tsunami warning network. The Indian Ocean, however, had nothing. As scientists in Hawaii watched their instruments light up, they immediately understood the horror. But there was no one to call. No sirens, no system, no way to warn the fishing villages and coastal towns in its path. The waves struck 14 countries and killed around 230,000 people in a single morning across thousands of miles of coast. The Tangshan Earthquake. 3:45 in the morning, a city of 1 million people, asleep. In 15 seconds, the ground ruptured and 97% of Tangshan's buildings came down on the people inside them. There had been no foreshocks, none of the small tremors that sometimes hint at what's coming. And that was the cruelest part. Just months earlier, China had done the impossible, predicted a major earthquake at Haichang, evacuated the city, saved tens of thousands. Tangshan gave them nothing to read. The official toll is around 242,000. Many believe it was far higher. It struck a nation already in turmoil in the last months of Mao's life. China turned away all foreign aid and rebuilt the city with its own hands. But its faith in predicting earthquakes died in the rubble and has never fully returned. The Coringa Cyclone. A thriving port in the Bay of Bengal. One day of storm, and then effectively nothing. There was no way to see a cyclone coming in 1839, no warning of any kind, before a wall of seawater 40 feet high swept in off the sea and erased what lay in its path. 20,000 ships were destroyed, around 300,000 people died. Coringa never came back. Once a great harbour, was never rebuilt, and today is a quiet village, a city all but wiped from the map in one afternoon. And now the deadliest storm ever recorded, and the deadliest single day nature has ever visited on humankind. The Bay of Bengal funnels its cyclones onto a coastline that is flat, crowded, and barely above the waterline. That night, at high tide, under a full moon, a surge 35 feet high rose out of the dark and rolled over islands where millions lived. A warning had gone out over the radio, but the signal was a code few had ever been taught, broadcast to people who had nowhere to shelter even if they understood it. Whole communities vanished between one tide and the next. Somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 people died before morning, and the water changed more than the coast. The government's slow, callous response lit a fury that fed a war of independence, and within a year, East Pakistan was gone, and Bangladesh was born, in part out of the wreckage of that single night. 5 days, hundreds of thousands of lives. Other natural disasters have killed more. Floods and famines have claimed millions, but slowly their toll unfolding over months and years. What we have here is different. The single day, the hours in which the ground or the sea took more lives than the longest of wars. We build our warning systems and our sea walls, and we're right to, but they will only ever soften the blow. For all we have mastered, the earth and the sea keep their own counsel, and when they move, we are still very small.